What's going on, guys, and welcome back to WrestleRant, where every single week I, Graham G.S. and Matthews, break down all the pay-per-views that I watch on the WWE Network as well as on the Global Wrestling Network. And today we're talking ECW Heatwave 1998. Now, bit of a disclaimer for those of you that have not checked out or listened to my past ECW reviews. I have not been too kind to these ECW shows. A lot of them have been pretty bad. ECW, I'm sure, at the time was a great product. Some aspects of ECW, even 20 years later, are still great. However, on the whole, a lot of these pay-per-views have been pretty shit. But I will say from the start here, I will say from the beginning of this review, this was easily, undoubtedly, hands down, the best ECW pay-per-view I've ever seen. I'm not sure how much better it's going to get than this. I don't know if it's possible. Just top to bottom, this was a great fucking show that I thoroughly enjoyed. Things that made sense, not too much overbooking. I mean, in certain areas, yeah, but by and large, it was entertaining, didn't frustrate me, didn't confuse me. I thought this was a 2 thumbs up worthy show. So we opened the night with Jerry Lynn taking on Just Incredible. A very good match here. I thought these two worked very well together. They had the chemistry. I mean, it was your typical spot fest. But, I mean, which a lot of those matches were in ECW, but hey, I'll take a good spot fest over the fucking mindless, dumb brawling. Like the hardcore. We got a lot of brawling later on in the show, too. But it was good brawling. Like the mindless, dumb, stupid, hardcore wrestling. That just isn't necessary at all. Just botch spots and stuff like that. This had none of that. This was a great wrestling match. A very good way to kick off the show. I mean, again, you had your typical interference from Nicole Bass, Jason, Chastity, all managers of Just Incredibles. But for what it was, I thought the match was really, really good. Credible went over, hit his finish off the top rope. It's called That's Incredible. It's a pile driver. That looked fucking cool. So great match here. The second match in the show was equally entertaining from a wrestling standpoint. It was Lance Storm taking in Chris Candido, two guys that have had history on these ECW pay-per-views in 1998. Again, an even better match. I thought this was a great match. We had the return of Sunny, otherwise known as Tammy Sytch, to ECW here. She was a great manager for Candido. I think she left and came back. She interfered, of course, but overall, this is a very well-wrestled match with a very good finish, with once again Candido hitting his finisher off the top rope, the powerbomb, which looked brutal and led to a good win for him. What I was really looking forward to the most out of anything on the show, to be honest with you, was this next match. Mike Awesome and Masato Tanaka. This match was fucking awesome. Now, any of you who have seen the ECW One Night Stand show from 2005 know exactly what I'm talking about. Those two rekindled their rivalry on that show 7 years after that for One Night Stand, the ECW reunion show, and it was amazing. I think I talked all about it in my review of that show like 4 years ago here on WrestleRant. It was one of the first pay-per-views I reviewed here for the show. So if you want to check out my thoughts on that pay-per-view, please do so. But this is where it all started in ECW. The series of matches these two had was phenomenal, and this was no exception. They really brought the best out of each other, going balls to the wall, just a badass match. Two guys beating the living shit out of each other, and it was very entertaining. Tanaka won with a spinning DDT off the top rope, like another top rope finisher, onto a pile of chairs. Again, a bit repetitive with the top rope stuff, but it looked cool, so I can't complain. For the ECW World Tag Team titles, we had Rob Van Dam and Sabu. RVD at this point was also the ECW World Television Champion, in addition to being one half of the Tag Team Champion. So him and Sabu took on Hayabusa and Jinzi Shizenki, or Shinsaki, or however you pronounce it. The former fucking Habushi, not Habushi, that's Hayabusa. Hakushi from WWE. They even called him that during his entrance. Joey Styles did, but obviously wasn't going by Hakushi here. He was Shinsaki, but I'll call him Hakushi. Hakushi and Hayabusa had a great showing here. This was a really fun match. Again, no real sense of storytelling or psychology, but for what it was as a spot fest, I thought it was a lot of fun. Beat the living shit out of each other, made great use of the weapons around them. Just a really, really fun tag team match with RVD and Sabu going over in the end to retain their titles. For the FDW Heavyweight Championship, the Fuck the World Heavyweight title, I think a championship a lot of us wish they could have held, that was occupied in the possession of Tazz by this point, taking on Bam Bam Bigelow in a Falls Count Anywhere match, which would play into the finish here. So I thought this was a really good match. Easily the weakest thing on the entire show up to this point, but it was still a really fun match, and maybe why I enjoyed it so much was because it was a lot better than their previous match. And it wasn't on the last show, might not even have been on the show before that. It was a while ago. One of the other ECW shows I reviewed from like either early 98 or late 97. It was not really that good of a match aside from the one spot where they went through the ring. Now, they repeated that here. They one-upped themselves here by going through the stage, the ramp, which was fucking cool. Crowd went nuts for that. I love the finish here. So, again, a good brawl, big spot at the end, kind of one-upping what they did in the ring a couple months earlier or the year prior, whatever. So Bigelow's the first one to get out of the hole. He climbs out very slowly, gradually, makes his way to the ring, and then Tazz, not knowing that Tazz is behind him, that he's also up out of the hole, Tazz locks in the Tazz mission, and just as Bigelow is about to reach for the rope, because he was right there, he taps out. So Tazz retains the title. I thought that was a great finish. Again, it's a Falls Count Anywhere match, so you don't have to get the submission in the ring. I thought that was a great use of the stipulation. Made for a great visual, very good story. The match itself wasn't like a 5-star classic. It really wasn't that good, but I thought it was a lot of fun for what it was, like I said. And then we get to the main event, a 6-man tag team street fight between Tommy Dreamer, the Sandman, and Spike Dudley. They're taking on the Dudley Boys, which consisted of Bubba Ray, Devon, and Big Dick. The fucking intro for this match lasted so long, I had to skip through most of it. I know Joel Gertner, he was great and all with the introduction and everyone else. It was entertaining, but it's like, oh my God. The entrance these guys had legit took up like 20 minutes. At least 15 to 20 minutes. There was like an hour left in the show, and at least 25 of those minutes was devoted to entrances. So that was a bit, kind of long in the tooth. But the match itself I thought was fun. It was easily the weakest thing on the entire show just in general. But again, for a typical ECW street fight, I thought all 6 guys played their roles well. They kept things interesting. It was never boring. Just a lot of fun, an enjoyable match. And in the end, the right guys went over, the baby faces, Dreamer, Sandman, and Spike Dudley. Right as the match ended, Dreamer gets ambushed by Jack Victory. Now, Jack Victory was supposed to have a match on the show against New Jack. Their match was canceled for whatever reason. They showed footage of them like brawling outside of the arena, some dumb shit like that. Thank God the match never happened. I'm sure that would have knocked the show down at least 2 grades in my book, as New Jack sucks. But the original Gangsta did emerge to help out the baby faces, lay out Jack Victory. A lot of Jacks here. And also take it to the heel. So overall, a very good match. Not a very good match, but a very entertaining match, I should say. And a good way to close out the show in the nice, solid post-match angle that sent the crowd home happy. So overall, again, I thought this was a fantastic show. Really, the last 2 matches were the weakest of everything on the show. But that's not to say they were bad. They were honestly a lot better than probably any other ECW match I've seen up to this point. So they were like the best ECW matches. They would have been the best matches on any other ECW pay-per-view I would typically review. I'm falling all over my words here. They would have been the best matches I would typically review on any other ECW pay-per-view. But on this show, because the undercard was so strong between Credible and Lynn, Candido and Storm, Tanaka and Awesome especially, and even RVD and Sabu versus Hayabusa and Hakushi, they kind of paled in comparison. But they were still all very good matches, had some good moments, very memorable moments, like going through the stage and the post-match angle at the end there, and everything else, the top rope finishers, like I talked about earlier. It was a great show, very good show. Definitely check it out on the WWE Network. So far, if there's any one ECW pay-per-view to recommend, I would say, it would be Heatwave 98 to check out on the network. And if there's any one match on the show I would recommend, it would be Tanaka and Mike Awesome. So thank you guys for checking out the show. I appreciate it. Be sure to like this video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more content. We'll be back next week, of course, with another new review of something right here on WrestleRant. What it is, I'm not sure. I'm almost positive it's another TNA pay-per-view from 2005. I might be mistaken on that, but I'm almost positive that's exactly what it is. So anyway, guys, have a great rest of your week. I'm Graham Giason Matthews. Enjoy the month of October, and I'll catch your ass down the road.